Deciding what the U.S. military will do is the president's decision and his alone. Patty Culhane, Al-Jazeera, Washington.
Nancy Soderberg joins me from Jacksonville, Florida. She's a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations under the Clinton administration and is now the president of the Connect U.S. Fund, a global policy nonprofit. Ambassador Soderberg, thanks for being with us. Let's talk about this latest round of sanctions from both the EU and the U.S. Do they deliver the knockout punch that will get Iran to back off its alleged nuclear program?
It's not a knockout punch, but it's in the fourth or fifth round of this battle to try and convince Iran that it is not in their interest to have a nuclear weapon. As Patty's report just laid out, the consequences of a confrontation with Iran over this are enormous. Everyone would like to avoid that. And so they're trying everything shy of that to try and convince Iran to change course.
What are the implications if Israel does go ahead and launch an attack on Iran? What position does that put the United States in?
Well, the United States is not going to be divided from Israel. It is laying out very strongly the downside of that option and trying to work very closely with Israel to make sure that we don't have to deal with that very serious hypothetical. As Leanne Panetta said, it would be a massive undertaking. It's not sure you'd get all of them. It would immediately make the nuclear weapons acquisition a political priority for the people of Iran, which is right now very divided. So we don't want to get there. That said, Israel is not going to stand by and have a nuclear-armed Iran blow it off the face of the earth. And so you've got no good choices here if we get to that point, which brings us back to how important the sanctions are. And I think President Obama has it right in trying to put that screw tighter and tighter to raise the cost to the Iranian government. It's divided right now. It's very unclear how this will play out.
The sanctions will no doubt increase discontent among Iranians. What, if any, kind of internal political pressure does that put on Ahmadinejad?
Well, first of all, the Iranian people are already very discontented. We saw that in 2009 when they came out in mass protests against the government, were crushed. Hundreds were thrown in jail, others killed. And that democracy movement was crushed. There's no Persian Spring going on. The government itself is divided. Ahmadinejad does not have strong support from the ruling Ayatollahs who have been losing confidence. So there's a real power play and discontent going on throughout the government. It is not at all clear to me why Iran sees it is in their interest to get this nuclear weapon. And so the international community's sanctions hopefully will raise the cost such that they make a different calculation and decide that they don't need to have a nuclear weapon. It's clear they're doing it. They say it's for peaceful purposes, but the international inspectors say just the opposite, and I'd put my bets with them and not with this regime.
Ambassador Nancy Soderberg, thanks for taking some time with us today.
My pleasure.